Hi everyone, welcome to the 4th episode of the Zicast. As always, I'm your host Ryan Ziaks, and today I'm joined by an artist of many varieties, Michael Hanley. Say hi, Michael.
How's it going, guys?
I'd also like to shout out Casey McNichol for her continued support and for making sure that our operation is running smoothly. And of course, just to give the usual gist, this podcast is a way for me to get to know my friends on a deeper level because everyone has a story, just like people are more interesting than they think they are and more capable than they think they are. So with that all said, Mick, let's get into things.
All right, let's get into it, dude. Excited to be here.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So Mick, how about you tell us a bit about yourself?
Okay. Well, my name's Michael Hanley. Everyone just calls me Mick, so that's
Yes.
fine with me. So I am a 3+1 cinematic production management master's student. I took my undergrad in film, television, and media studies. I started in 2020, the COVID year. Somehow, I'm still here. But I'm a musician. I play a lot of music around campus. I do small campus events. I am a associate producer for Quinnipiac Tonight. I've been involved in Q30 for 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a crazy 3 years. A bunch of other stuff along the way. I've been to a couple film festivals. I've been in an a cappella group for a year. A lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah, and with that all said, I feel like we should get in to the topics because you really covered everything. So
All right, let's do it.
I'm really curious as to where your passion for the art stems from and really what you feel of being the value of being a multifaceted artist.
Well, that's a good question. That's a really good question. I thought about this question. Let's see. So, it's kind of like, I always thought that stories were important. I always wanted to be a storyteller because I feel like we know more, like this entire podcast's thing is everyone has a story. It's important to know it, and the way that they kind of explain things and tell us more about the world around us is really cool to me. So I've always been obsessed with that idea of we can tell great stories about anything, and we can just understand more about it. So I feel like my love for it, my admiration for film really stems from that, because I feel like film and television especially is such a great place for anybody of any age to tell a story that they think is so important to them that they have to pour their heart and soul into a screen for it. So I think that's really cool. Music, I don't know. I feel like music has just always been such an important part of my life. It's always been something I turn to whenever I'm feeling any emotion ever. And I feel like a lot of people relate to that. So I just started playing it, and it was just really fun. I get to sing the songs I like to sing. I get to be the person I want to be when I'm up on stage, and it's just a really fun experience.
And I've had the privilege of listening to you sing a couple
God.
of times so far.
Oh, you're making me blush.
Which is a blast. And yeah, and kind of like you said, I have a similar feeling. I've always wanted to tell stories as well, and you can tell it in so many different ways, like you said, with film and music, and even different mediums can kind of allow you to tell different things.
Yeah.
And so kind of building on that, I'm curious as to what each art form that you're involved in has taught you and how they kind of compare and contrast with one another.
Well, film has kind of corrupted me, because now it's my thing is, I can't watch any source of medium without thinking about what's going on behind it. You know, I can't sit down and enjoy a movie now. Back before I decided, okay, I'm going to study film, I'm going to go into this, I'm going to try writing, I was just a person watching movies and enjoying the heck out of them. And, being like, oh, this is a cool story and everything else. Now I'm thinking about the production value. Now I'm thinking about, oh, this person must have been really easy to work with. This person must have been very hard to work with. Ow, I really like that shot. I wonder how they did that. What type of camera are they using? And everything else. And it's just there's so many more questions being created in the film, from the film in my mind, but they're not centered around the film anymore. It's more how it's made. So
the curtain is pulled back.
Yes, exactly. The curtain's pulled. The magician has revealed his secret. So it's it's kind of sad, but it's also kind of if this is what I want to do, it's the price of labor, I guess.
Yeah, and it's very enlightening in a way, because I felt the same since I've been studying film here, and you kind of see how production's actually handled. I was involved with the QFS fall production, which is really as professional as I've ever kind of been around so far, and you kind of see now when I watch movies, you kind of just see it with a different lens.
Yeah, no, especially when you're on professional sets. I've been on a couple, I've been on a Bad Robot set, and I've been around some bigger productions, and it's just, it only gets crazier. It only gets like bigger and like more like the amount of money thrown into it too. It's just like mind boggling. And then it's just, it's crazy. You'll see, but
Yeah.
it's just crazy. So
Yeah,
once you get up there, so
definitely. And what kind of like, since you talk about a lot about film, like what has music taught you?
music. I can say some corny thing about anybody having a voice, but I feel like it's taught me that to a lot of people, music is just more than, sounds that they like. It has a lot more. There's like a message to it that's really important to a lot of people. That people like certain artists because they think that they relate to them, and the stories they tell they're almost sympathetic to. So I feel like on a storyteller level, it's taught me that you can find stories in music too, and you can relate to them, and you can, work with them, and it's really important to, stick with them. It's cool.
And you can also kind of express yourself while also being other people.
Exactly, yeah.
Like I heard you singing country music to open up Comic Sans, and then at Q30 karaoke you were Frank Sinatra.
Oh my God, yeah, you
singing.
know me. Man of many hats.
Yes.
Music, no.
Singing "Fly Me to the Moon."
Oh my God.
That was fun.
Yep. I have no idea.
And I kind of get back to the second part of that question.
Sure.
Like, how does kind of like what you're doing, like music and film, writing, whatever else, like how do they all compare and contrast to one another?
Well, I feel like for me personally, film is what I want to do professionally. So this is like, okay, I can have some fun with it, but I better be learning. I better figure this out quick. 'Cause now it's like I'm a master's student. Next year, I'm going to be looking for like real jobs in the industry, scrambling around with the rest of my graduating class, trying to figure out what the heck we're doing. So it's like, I got to pick this up. I got to stay on top of it. I got to figure this out. I feel like it's more of a rush, which is, I'm not going to say it's like not enjoyable. The rush is great. I mean, I love working on this. I'm blessed to be able to, work in this type of industry and be able to do what I love instead of doing what I have to do. Like I'm not doing anything blue collar. I'm not working for a purpose, So I feel really just like grateful that I have the opportunity to study what I'm studying, but at the same time, this is still going to be work to me, and I got to find that balance. Music, on the other hand, it's just something that I kind of picked up. I've been playing guitar for like 4 or 5 years. I played guitar for I think 2 years before I started singing. Actually, like 3 or 4 years before I started singing. I didn't start singing until my second year in college, and that's when I did the whole a cappella group. I was in the Quinnipiac Legends for 1 year. Great group. They did some great stuff. They're doing great stuff still. Wasn't really my thing because, I like instruments, and being in an a cappella group kind of
all singing
separates you away from that. So, so I feel like, that's more of like a leisure thing to me. It's more of like a, I can enjoy myself. This is it's my time off, Would it be something I would like to pursue? Maybe. I would like to sing at bars or stuff like that. That's always fun to me. But it's nothing I'm going to pursue like work-wise,
Yeah, so film is intense but rewarding, and music is like a release of sorts.
Exactly,
Of sorts, and that's fun. I did not know you were in an a cappella group.
I was in an a cappella group for 1 year. I was I forget my voice group, but whatever it was, I was decent at. So.
I think you're probably putting it lightly, but
I appreciate that.
I would like to see that. That's really cool. Yes. Yeah. I bet. Yeah, and to kind of continue, what art form would you maybe like to tap into that you haven't yet?
Well, kind of done I hate tooting my own horn, but I've kind of touched on a lot of them at this point. But I don't know. You know what seems really cool? Pottery.
Interesting.
Like that thing where you just you sit down and you make the pots and stuff, like that big spinning thing. That seems cool to me. That seems very relaxing. I'm trying to find things that will relax me more. Because I'm starting to realize I have to wind down a bit. Maybe I should pick up crocheting. That looks fun too. You'll teach me?
I'll teach you.
Yeah.
You should teach me.
Yeah, she does crochet.
Yeah. They have those little kits where you can make a penguin or something on a plane. They show you those things oh, you can make a penguin on a plane. I'm just all right, you know what? Maybe I will.
That's fun.
Yeah. No.
Nice. Maybe even drawing or painting as well.
Yeah.
An interesting option.
No, I can't draw for anything.
I can't either.
It's so bad. I'm bad at it. Painting's fun though.
Definitely. It's interesting because I thought that your answer was going to be like stand-up comedy.
Oh, I can't do comedy for the life of me.
I mean,
I can tell a good joke, but I can't like put something. I can't string it together.
we are involved in Quinnipiac tonight, which
That's
is
a good point.
all comedy.
That is something, yeah. Well, Quinnipiac Tonight's different. I feel like Quinnipiac Tonight for me is not just like, okay, I like making funny things. Funny's great. I'm glad that I'm able to make the content that I want to make at Quinnipiac Tonight. But to me, it's more of like, it's more of an opportunity to kind of explore what type of filmmaker I want to be, because through my segments, I'm able to be like, okay, this is the shot that I would put into something. This is the type of angle I would use. This is the script that I would write, something like that. So it's less around like I want to make funny content, more around I want to make the quality content I want to make. This is like me trying to figure out my voice in film to see like what I can produce, what I want to produce.
Yeah, definitely. Because I do feel like you have the right sensibilities for stand-up comedy in sense of humor, delivery and tone.
I guess. I mean, I have I'm a really because I do love stand-up comedy. It's Shane Gillis, Norm Macdonald. Norm Macdonald, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Big names to me that are just such funny guys that were able to come up from nothing just because they were funny. It's great. That's awesome. Like, and then they're just the way they put it together, the way they can tell a story, the way they can save a punchline. It's all awesome. Can I ever do anything like that? No, because that's such a different beast. You know?
Yeah, but like I said at the beginning, people are always more capable than they think they are, and because that's something I want to try. I want to try stand up, and I even want to try singing a little bit. I feel like I have a bit of potential with both.
There you
so
go.
If the opportunity arises, another karaoke night or open mic night, perhaps I'll give it a go.
Yeah. You ever think about professional arm wrestling? Because that one time you almost took my whole arm off.
Yeah, that was a pretty epic matchup, but.
Dude, that was bad. Like, I felt like pain in my arm for like 3 days.
Oh, damn.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. I didn't.
No, man, it's not you. It's me. It was a wake up call. I'm like, jeez.
No, it was the heat of the competitive.
Heat of the moment. We were both like red faced. Like, oh my God. But that was fun.
Yeah, there is a video of that too, which was.
There is? Oh,
yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, which I watched and I'm like, wow, it looks.
Yeah, I love it. We both took a break at one point because we were both like going so hard, and then we just took a break. We're just like, oh.
We're just like we're stalemated in the middle for like 15 minutes.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah, because I had like arm wrestled the entire cast.
Yeah.
And they were like, get Mick up here. It was like the championship round was like calling up you.
Get Mick up here.
Yeah.
That's great.
So yeah, that was before our previous show, the 5th episode, and now we're heading towards the 6th.
6th episode. Yep, last of the semester. It's gonna be good. You know, it's Quinnipiac Tonight. It's always good.
Yeah, it's gonna be bittersweet because I can't believe we're here already.
Isn't that crazy? Time just goes so quick. Honestly, I remember like I was like walking to the last meeting we had for Quinnipiac Tonight, and they had the lights up because they did the lighting ceremony, and I was like, oh my God. Because I remember like the first one where we didn't like have like a lighting ceremony, but they put the lights up, and I was like, you know, like deja vu, like you've been there before.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, I'm old now. It's like, dude, this is weird. It's like I'm 21. It's crazy. It's ridiculous.
And this is perfect timing because our next topic was your experience with Quinnipiac Tonight and filmmaking in general, or even some of your other stuff. Because I remember seeing you in channeling.
Oh yeah.
The spring production from last year. So, kind of like.
Yeah, I co-directed that.
Yeah. So kind of like your role in that and other projects.
Sure. I'll start with Q30 because I actually started off in a sports show. I started off producing for Bobcat Breakdown. That was last year with Connor Core. Hannah Smith was on there was the 2 EPs. Great. I love Hannah. Shout out Hannah Smith. She's great. But yeah, I mean, I was able to work on what I wanted to do with cameras and stuff like that. But I worked on a live show. It's very different than Quinnipiac Tonight, obviously, because you're not making stuff that's pre-recorded. There's no editing involved. It's just set up cameras, let the talent do their thing. That was like my focus when I was at the show. Obviously, there's like 10 times more what goes into it. You're creating graphics. You're making sure everyone's happy. You're talking about sports, which if you know me, I know nothing about sports, which is really funny. But so that was fun. And then I was like, okay, I want to go somewhere else. So Quinnipiac Tonight was brought up, and I was like, sure, why not? I tried becoming an EP. didn't get the role. Said AP's good too, I guess, and now we're here.
Mm.
But yeah, so far it's been great. You know, I love the cast is awesome. Really funny group of people. They're nice too, which isn't good. They're not like ahead of themselves. They know who they are. They know what they're doing. They know what our group is, which is good because if you have humble talent, you don't have to work around them. They can work with you.
Exactly.
You know, so they're really great. So Quinnipiac tonight, it's awesome. It's really a great place for me to kind of explore my craft, figure out what I want to do later. Because it's like, do I still want to write? Do I want to direct now? I don't know. Because I feel like everyone says they want to direct, which is like you can't just say you want to direct.
Exactly.
You know, you kind of got to go from A to B. But I feel like writing you can do right away. So yeah, Quinnipiac tonight has done a lot for me. But what else? Channeling was interesting because I was actually involved in a couple of productions with QFS a while before. I was acting in one of them. I was an AD for a different one. I forget which ones. Who's Kevin I AD'd for? Another one I acted in. And then channeling came up, and I really wanted to direct, but I didn't write anything. But I always thought, like, okay, maybe someone wants to write their thing, but they don't want to direct it. But turns out Michaela wrote it, and she wanted to direct it too, but she was looking for a co-director. I said, sure, why not? I'll take it. And I liked working with the actors a lot. Working with them was great. I mean, working through the audition process and everything else was really good. The set itself was pretty stressful because they treated it like it was a capstone project, which you cannot do. You cannot treat anything like, you can't treat a QFS shoot like a capstone project, because a capstone project, you have months to prepare. You have so many different bodies in it. You have so many people, you know, putting their 100% into it. 'Cause this is like, that's like the big thing. Like, that's like, your capstone project is the accumulation of what you've learned in 3 years, and you're putting that into a QFS shoot. No, you can't do that. So the set was very stressful. I remember that the actors were not as happy with it. It wasn't, I wouldn't say toxic, but it was kind of toxic. Casey's looking at me. She's giving me nods. So it wasn't, shout out to them. And then they did me so dirty after, because they did they created all the content for it. You know, they created the poster and they did all the Instagram stuff like that. They just left my name out.
Dang.
I was like, yo, that's messed up. They posted a poster and it was like directed by Michaela Picard, and in that, it was on Instagram. They had it was like #woman_director was like in the comments and everything else. And I was just like, oh, you did me so dirty, dude. Oh my God. But no hard feelings now, but it was just like, I can't say it was a great experience. It was a great final product. It looked really great. Michaela has real talent behind the camera, but when it comes to organization and everything else, they really just have to, you know, if that's what their sets are looking like these days, because since then I've kind of stepped out of QFS, but if that's what they're still running with, good luck.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can attest to the fall production. I mean, it's all very organized, and I mean, I know that film sets are always intense. So,
Oh yeah.
because I was fortunate enough to be the lead actor
Ooh,
for
look
this
at
one.
you. All right.
Yeah, so, and I was there every day, and it was a very fun process, and we were working with, of course, a great script and a lot of talented people. So it was a nice first exposure.
Who directed it?
Finn Meyer.
Finn Meyer. Oh, that's great. Nice. I'm excited to see it then.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, he was really good. And then, of course, Matt Koza wrote the script, a fellow Quinnipiac
Oh
tonight.
wow, that's great. Yeah, I knew Matt wrote it, but that's great. Can't wait to see it then, because Finn is always great at making good work, and you know, and I feel like he brings a certain vibe to the set that I feel like is necessary. You know, I apologize for getting that messed up there, but yeah, but I feel like he brings a certain vibe that's like very relaxed, and we can figure this out, and we'll get there. So I feel like that's really important on a set, is to keep your head and keep it cool. So
yeah, especially because there's the natural filmmaking roadblocks that we faced, and of course we kind of persevered through that. We made what I really believe is a great film, and it should be ready soon. I know the rough cut is
great, because they are hard. I mean, you're shooting a whole short film on I'm not gonna say small campus, but this is it's kind of a small campus, you know. Relatively small. I mean, if in the world of filmmaking, but I think that's what all short films should really aspire to be. Because I feel like, let me talk a little bit about the capstones, because the best capstones, in my opinion, took place in one place. They did not spread themselves too thin, and I feel like that's what a great short film is. It's able to work with what it has. It's not like spreading itself too thin. It's not creating too much of a storyline. It's a very simple story.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you put in those ingredients, you can make a really great short film. So I bet it's going to be great.
I really agree, because a lot of great short films that I've seen, everything's conveyed very simply. Like even like how a character dresses, and that just like enforces almost their entire character.
Yeah.
So I very much agree.
Because when you spread yourself too thin like that, you're fishing too much. You know, you have to keep it simple because you only have 15 to 20 minutes to explain what's going on. And I feel like, yeah, that's really important. Like the original Whiplash, the short film. Thunder Road, another great example. Even Reservoir Dogs. You know, takes place in almost one space the entire time. Very simple costumes, very thrown together, but great film because they knew the story. It was story-driven, and he wasn't spreading himself too thin. So I feel like in short films, you have to keep it simple and focus on that one story. If you try to run around and go to all these different places and explain these different storylines, it just gets too messy. So knowing that, you guys will make a great film.
Yeah.
Well, made a great film. So
definitely. I'm excited to see it. And did you make your own capstone? Because I remember you saying that you were going to do it all by yourself. Or is that a joke?
Yes. Yes and no. Yes and no. Because I did the writing track. I wrote a full-length script. What's it called? A dramatic script. So, yeah, it was 110 pages it clocked in at. I'm still doing rewrites for it. It's a gambling drama. But, yeah, so I just did that. But I don't regret it. Definitely don't regret it because I love writing so much. But looking back, I'm like, I should really have something written. Well, not written, something produced that I can call my own. So I've been thinking about kind of going the same path as the capstones and be like, okay, I'm going to write a script. I'm basically making my own short film. And then I'm going to use the website they use for funding, use it there. I'm going to use their website, and I can get people from around here that want to get involved in it. I can get people who aren't in a capstone group or just want to make their own short film, people who aren't directly involved in film if they ever wanted to do something like that. It's an opportunity I can create for them. So that's going to be in the works. Yeah, no, that's going to be really exciting. So the first copy of the script is already written, so I'm going to have to go back and do revisions. But yeah, from there, it's going to be pretty cool.
Definitely. I'd love to help you with that as well.
Oh, please do.
In any way.
I'll be in touch.
Definitely. Yeah. And gambling drama sounds very interesting, especially today, in contrast to like past eras where those kinds of films were made, because you can just gamble on your phone.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to focus on, because I feel like there's such a gap in like what we consider gambling. Because we would like we think of like older gambling, we think of like illegal bookies and everything else. We think of the grid around it and casinos and the mafia and yada yada yada. But these days it's just like some random schmuck can bet like $2,000 on his phone driving somewhere.
Yeah.
You don't have to go anywhere. You could be anywhere in the world. You can gamble right away. You can gamble on anything. So I feel like it'd be pretty cool if we were to, talk about that type of modern gambling.
Yeah, just like, oh, the John Jones fight, I'll bet on him to win, and
Exactly.
whatever round, and just press it on your phone, and then, because I know you've said that do you watch professional, like,
Yes,
UFC?
I do. I'm a UFC guy, yeah.
So yeah, that's why.
Yeah, well,
that's
you
where the
know what, you
reference.
pulled up John Jones, dude. Good name.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's just, I feel like, and it's such like, because the process for it was really interesting, because I talked to a lot of people with addiction issues and stuff like that, because I wanted to focus on the addiction issue side of it, because I know so many people who have gambled away so much money and lost so much from it. A lot of friends up here especially. So yeah, so writing about it was really cool, and it was really interesting, and it was really important to a lot of people, because I feel like it's something that isn't mentioned a lot, having an addiction to something like gambling that just controls your finances. So
sounds very Uncut Gems, which I think would be a great reference for you to watch.
Yeah, I love Uncut Gems. You kidding me?
I do too, yeah.
Adam Sandler is amazing in that.
Yeah, very great dramatic role for him. Great dramatic role for Kevin Garnett.
Yeah.
As well.
Great cast altogether.
And I kind of circle back a little bit with that question. That picture of you above the teleprompter in the control room where you're going like this.
Yeah.
That's from Bobcat.
That's
right there?
from Newscast.
That's
from Newscast.
Okay.
I was their weatherman for like one episode.
I think
And I was like,
I think you
yeah,
make a great
I
weatherman.
appreciate that. You
Yeah.
know what? That's cool.
Yeah,
It was a lot of fun.
cause I always see that photo and I always kind of snicker. I always kind of wonder where I just assumed it was from like hashtag.
Yeah.
Your involvement with entertainment, but now that's good to finally know.
Yeah, no, that's from Newscast when I was on it for like one day. A lot of pictures of me up on that wall.
Yeah.
It's a really ugly wall.
No, it's
I'm joking.
yeah, and also with you tonight, like kind of
Mhm.
what you said about how humble everyone is. I totally agree because it is a
Mhm.
great family that
Oh,
we've
yeah.
cultivated there, and
Totally.
there's so many great kids. So
Mhm.
I just kind of wanted to hark on that as
Mhm.
well. And to kind of continue, I would like to talk about your history with movies in general and
Mm.
all the stories that come along with that. So this could be like watching them or being involved with them,
Okay. Well,
which I know is very broad, but if we can.
the first movie that meant a lot to me that I've ever watched was on accident because I watched the entirety of the Titanic when I was like 7. It was my first movie that I remember watching in full. It was on Super Bowl Sunday. Everyone else was watching the Super Bowl. I was watching Titanic. And yeah.
Speaks volumes.
So yeah, I was like, I got the whole emotional roller coaster from it. Didn't know what was going on in some parts, especially that car scene. but yeah. So that was the first movie I've ever like watched in full and was like, oh my god, this is what like a movie is. Because before that, you had like what? You had like Up, which is awesome, slaps. Don't get me wrong, but it's like that's a kids movie. So I've only watched like kids movies before that, and then I watched that, and I was like, wait, that's what a movie is. So since then, I've kind of been like obsessed. It's always been like, if I'm not doing anything, I'm watching a film. So, yeah. So that's always film has always been an important part of my life. But my dad was actually a grip. He worked electrical on a couple of sets while he was on furlough. A couple, like 15 years back. So he worked a couple of smaller sets. He worked a couple of movies and everything else. He told me about his experiences. He worked on a couple of live sets. He worked with, I think it was Good Morning America, everything else. So he's been all in New York for a long time. So he's met a lot of great people, and I guess hearing his stories kind of also influenced me to kind of be like, okay, maybe I want to get into this industry. And that's when I met Tom Conway, who was he's a leadman. So headset dresser on a lot of sets. So he kind of took me under his wing, and he took me around to a couple of studios in Brooklyn, mostly Brooklyn, some in the New York area, but mostly Brooklyn, where I got to see a lot of great sets, meet a lot of interesting people. West Side Story was big because I saw Spielberg's West Side Story like being produced, like being made, and that was like back in 2017. And that movie came out 2020. So I was like, wow, that took like 3 years of production time because it's right there. It's kind of crazy. But Little Voice was really cool too. I was on the set for that. I don't remember much of it because I was so young, but Little Voice was really cool. And then Gossip Girl was great as well. That was during COVID. Gossip Girl. I was I was part of his team for the set dressing team. I wasn't like an official anything because I was still, I was only 18. So plus it was COVID, which is like whoa. But seeing what was going on during COVID and the restrictions that went around it was really interesting. I mean, the testing process for everybody, the masks for everybody, distance from talent was interesting to see. It was COVID in the industry during COVID was just crazy time compared to what it usually is because it's usually so hectic, but now it's like everybody has to stay apart from each other. Nobody can touch each other. Talent has to be all the way in the corner with 3 masks on,
Yeah.
So seeing it during COVID was definitely crazy.
While it's also still hectic.
Yeah, exactly. It's
And-
like hectic, but it had to be like spread out. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I never knew that your dad was a grip, and that makes so much sense with all of your experiences because I knew about West Side Story, but I didn't hear about all that happened in between and after.
Yeah.
So kind of, how was that experience? Of course, you touched upon it with COVID, but how was being on those sets and seeing what they look like?
Really interesting. I mean, like we talked about the curtain being pulled back, but seeing the amount of just working guys that go into a set, you expect like such pretentious people with like such, thumb up butt energy when you're just getting into the industry. You're like, oh my god, I'm gonna be around so many great people that have such like huge resumes and everything else. Meanwhile, the people I was with in the art department, they were just painters, carpenters, electricians, gaffers. They're just electricians. They're just nice guys that know how to handle wires. lighting people, everything else. It's just people think it's just work to them, you know. And it's very humbling. It's just like, okay, so it's almost like any other work environment. So it was very like, it brought me down to earth a little bit, because you think that the entertainment industry is like some high on a pike, like
magical.
Exactly, like some magical, like, oh my God, there's so much. Everybody here is famous. Everybody here has a name. But then you get to set, everyone's just, oh, that's Mike, that's Matt. How you doing?
Yeah.
It's just like just random people with random names, and then you meet the most amazing people. So, being on those sets, it's really eye-opening, because you realize that there's just a lot of people like you that are just passionate about making movies, that don't have like, crazy resumes or rich parents that are just, they come from anywhere and they just want to, just be involved somehow. And they made a living out of it. So
yeah, very much
cool.
Humanized it all to you, because movies
humanize the experience.
Yeah, because movies are a business, and
Exactly.
people want to, put food on the table.
Exactly.
And they want to get paid.
That's it. Yeah. So it's really cool.
It's great that you met a lot of, I definitely bet, really cool people who have cool stories like yourself that are working on those sets and helping make that possible, because it is all a group effort, and that's a great thing to learn that we can learn here.
Yeah, no. And hearing the stories of the cast that I was on was a lot older, so it's like not like the cast, the crew behind it. So Tom's been in the industry for, I'm guessing, like 20, 30 years. He's retiring soon, or he's becoming a Teamster, same thing. But so hearing his stories of like, he worked on Law and Order since day one. He was on that set, on that team for a while. So hearing his stories about like what went into it, because they were using film cameras and everything else, nothing digital yet, and hearing about that transition and the whole process compared to what we're using now, it's ridiculous. It's two different animals. So that's really cool too, seeing the difference in in the drastic change of technology that goes into what makes our industry. It's really cool.
Yeah. So it's great you could kind of see that kind of throwback model to now see how it's evolved. I feel like it gives you that greater understanding, because a lot of times artists kind of go backwards to go forwards. We see like a lot of great writers and directors.
Yep, totally agree.
So kind of staying on that same note, what are some kind of notable people that you've met kind of around movies and filmmaking, and kind of your experiences with them? I know this is very loaded.
It's kind of loaded, but I've definitely met some really interesting people. Film festivals especially were an eye-opening thing for me when it comes to meeting important people in the industry. Tom Conway's always been my number one. Liedman, great guy, comes from Long Island.
Such as yourself.
Yeah, from me. So it's like, he's just a working guy, and it's just really great. He's an awesome guy, great family. So he's my, got me onto sets, can never ask for more from him. But when it comes to people in the industry, I've met a couple of great producers from Kimmel Live. I met a couple of assistant directors who worked on The Avengers, some Scorsese films. Really, just really great people. And it's kind of the same thing, because it's humanizing. Because you think like, oh my God, they're an executive producer. You're like, dude, this guy's like it. And then you're talking to him at a bar, just hanging out, and you're just like, oh wait, this guy's just a dude.
Yeah.
Talking about his wife, his kids. I met his wife, met his kids. They're just a family. They're just normal people, just doing things. They're just involved in our industry, So it's very like humanizing. But no, Patrick Friend was a great guy.
He's a friend.
Yeah, friend. I would consider him a friend now after the experiences we've had.
Well, his last name.
Friend. Yeah, that's it. He's a friend, I guess. That's funny. I didn't think about that. That was a good one. But he told me a lot, and he kind of, I don't know, because I feel like when I went to France for the Cannes Film Festival last year. It was a great experience. I'm never going to have an experience like that again. But I was kind of in this place where I was like, I don't know what I really want to do. My confidence was low. I was like, what am I going to do here? This industry, it was very striking. I just graduated with my undergrad, which is, anyone can be nervous after graduating college. But
that's why the graduate exists.
Exactly. So meeting him and everybody else in the con program was like very reassuring, because he's like, look, because he's telling me these stories and he's telling me these things, and I was listening and I was talking back to him. I was asking the right questions, and he was just like, look, great guy. You know what you kind of want to do. You're working in this industry. You got time to figure it out. You'll be fine. So hearing that you'll be fine was like very like, okay, I'll be all right. So meeting him and everybody else there was just really reassuring. We also had a great time that entire time. Like, it was ridiculous. The stuff we were doing. It was like, it was ridiculous. So, yeah.
Definitely. I know. Yeah, and like you said, it was reassuring from someone who's done the things that he's done.
Oh, yeah. No,
And
especially like somebody like such like an executive producer for Kimmel since The Man Show, which is crazy. That's like 20 plus, years he's been involved with him. And it's just an eye-opening experience. Like someone like that will be like, will approach you and be like, how's it going? And that's it, And then I met Robert, another great director who's working, has ties with UCLA, who just put out a film. He was showing his film there. I was able to see it. Great guy. We talked about his experience because he was an AD for a couple of films, The Avengers. Gangs in New York was one of them. So
Scorsese, yeah.
Yes. So hearing him, talking with him, great guy too. Another working guy, just getting along. So meeting people like that, it's very like, oh, these are people too.
Yeah.
They're not like, I don't have to like get on my, start bowing to them or anything. It's just, they're just people.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
And I'm excited for you to join that working man rank eventually. If
we'll see.
Down to earth.
Yeah, no, I'll keep my head when I'm famous now.
Yes. Yeah. And the kind of, you really already touched on it, but I'd like to expand kind of film festivals that you've been to and just kind of just talking about your experiences there and kind of paint the picture of that for people.
So the first opportunity I had to go to a film festival was 2021. It was what's it called? Sundance. But that was the year it was canceled.
Yeah.
In person, it was canceled. So I was like, well, I have a ticket to Park City. We have the houses already set up, so we went anyway, and we watched all the films inside. It was a great experience nonetheless. That was really great year for the festival too. I mean, they had some really great films in there. Can't really remember much titles, but great experience. But then I went last year, and wow, I had such a great time, honestly, at the festival. It was, best way I can put it is, if you want to see the best stories coming from young filmmakers, Sundance is the place to be. I mean, you had such great stories of such variety. You can see like an animated kids movie, or you can see a dramatic war documentary, and the opportunity to talk to directors and writers and, answer Q&As after and everything else was such a great opportunity. So Sundance was really just something else. It's the filmmakers. It's what's it called? It's filmmakers' dream is to be there, because like you're with such like minds, talking about your industry, seeing their work, relating it to yourself, being able to approach them and ask questions, sometimes meeting them in public. And then, you'll have your celebrities and everything else, and you'll have like some of the money that goes into the industry there invisible, but you're not going to see like nothing crazy, because it's Utah.
Yeah.
It's like, it's Park City, Utah. On a good day, it was like 0 degrees. So it's like,
very pretty mountains.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, I love that country so much. Not country, state, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know. I got you. Yeah.
But no, Utah, great place. Con, on the other hand, wow. Because you see the money that goes into it there. It's just 90% industry money, because that's what everyone there is there to do. They're there to sell their films and to make money. So you see everything that goes into it. You see the stars, you see the premieres, you see the market. I saw the marketplace. I was able to walk through the marketplace, and you see everybody it's like one of those bazaars you see in a movie. You know? Those like big marketplaces where everyone's yelling at each other. It's like that, but it's about film, and you're like, wow, that's just crazy, because it's like everybody trying to sell their film to directors and to producers.
A lot of big directors too.
Oh yeah. So, but yeah, it's just such a different beast. So, while I say Sundance is for the filmmaker, Cannes, I think, is for the business aspect of the industry.
Fascinating.
It's for the producer. It's for the, yeah. So I think so. But yeah, and then you see the money that just went into it was just ridiculous. I mean, just walking next to like Conor McGregor's Lamborghini yacht was just there. And you're just like, oh, okay, that's fine.
That's a normal thing.
Yeah, it's just like a normal thing. Everyone's just like, what are you looking at? I'm like,
Lamborghini yacht.
Yeah. It's like a literal, like, yeah. And they had like all like the boats and everything lined up from all these people, and then you saw all these celebrities, and you're just like, oh, that's Harrison Ford. How's it going? And, you know, it's stuff like that. It's crazy because it's such a different animal compared to what I was expecting. Because I was like, okay, it's gonna be like Sundance but bigger. No, it's gonna be like Sundance but huge, ridiculous, like astronomically different. But I had a great time. The American Pavilion showed me a great time. I met everybody there. We had some great nights. I had a really great internship. Met students from across the country that were just as passionate as I was. And nightlife was great. Yeah, no complaints about that entire experience. Excuse me, my throat's killing me.
Oh, no worries at all. And I know when we actually were in the same theater to see Killers of the Flower Moon, the recent Martin Scorsese
Yes, we
film.
were.
And I remember afterwards you talked to me about seeing, or the film was presented there, right?
Oh yes, it premiered at Cannes. Yeah, that was the hottest ticket of the entire thing because it was one showing. That's it. That's all it came out.
Yeah, and you said that was Scorsese, De Niro, they were, and DiCaprio. Were they all there?
They were all there. The entire cast, everybody involved was there. So they had a whole red carpet thing. Red carpet was insane. I mean, people just shoving over each other just to look at these people. I got to look at. I caught a glance at Scorsese, but that's about it. But the red carpet experience was absolutely crazy because, like, you think like, okay, this guy walking on a red carpet, nothing big, but the people just went crazy. It was like, oh my god, I mean, people shoving over each other. There was the media involved, like, you know, people taking photos and stuff like that. Was just so much. So it was really interesting to see from that angle. Again, from behind the curtain, really.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's been so fun. Any other kind of notable recent films that were being presented there that you can recall?
Indiana Jones, the newest one, premiered there. I saw a really great film, Cobweb. That was great. And The Oak Tree, which is coming out soon, I think. It's I think it's an English film, but it's very good. And I was at the premiere. I was in this tux. It was me in a tux there, and I was with a couple other people. But then they started like announcing who else was there. Like David Beckham was there.
Oh wow!
And like so many big names were there, and we're just like, oh, okay, like they're here to see this too, and it was ridiculous. And it was like, wait, I'm in the same room as all these people watching a movie. It's like really cool. So yeah,
the kind of like peak of movie culture.
Yes, and then John C. Reilly was there as well, and it was just the peek into the movie culture that that goes into a premiere. It was really interesting. So
awesome. Yeah, because I'm actually going to be fortunate enough to go to Sundance this year with QFS.
Good job, good stuff. No, I would go again. I would go again on a heartbeat. I'm thinking about volunteering just to go again.
Awesome. Yeah, because we had I had Grace Doyle on for episode 2 and we talked about the lot, and she was with you for the canceled year.
Yeah, she was.
And we talked about that a lot.
No, we had the same experience there because I think she was the first year.
I believe she was.
Yeah, she's a year under me. So yeah, but no. So Sundance, you're gonna have a great time. Always a great time.
I'm so excited just to be able to go to my first festival and kind of see what that's like, and
dress warm.
Definitely, yes.
Dress warm, and it's gonna be great. You'll have a good time. So definitely before you get there, kind of figure out what movies you want to see because they throw so much at you, and it's like all at once, and you're like, okay, I have to figure out how tickets work and everything else. But get like your top 5, top 10 movies that you want to see while you're there. Keep your eyes out for the tickets. If you do that, you'll have a great time.
Awesome.
But there's always something you can do up there. So yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that there's probably a lot else to do, and hopefully I can.
Oh yeah.
Meet and greet a lot of interesting.
Oh yeah, no, they have really great talks. They have Q&As. They have they have really great it's everything. Everything is great.
Awesome. I hope that maybe someday I can go to Con as well.
Con, yes. No, the school has a great con program. So yeah, definitely look into that.
Awesome. Like a trip out there. Oh wow.
Yeah, I went through the school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it was like a school trip. It was great. Like I know a lot of other people who are going into the master's program who had the opportunity. They had to take a certain class, and it's a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot of it was like I think $5,000 for the 2 weeks, which is and then you get there, and then you're spending more money when you get there, and it's like, oh boy.
You're in France, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
but it definitely seems like an experience that's
Oh
worth.
my god, so worth it, so worth it. Like nothing compares to what I did there. Like just hanging out, swimming in the Mediterranean.
Just
I forgot it existed until I got there.
the casual flex. Yeah.
Yeah, no, casual fun. But no, it was real just experience I wouldn't trade for anything in the world. So if you have the opportunity to go, I know it's a lot, but give it a shot.
Definitely.
Try it.
That's definitely all.
At least apply.
Yeah. Give it a go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Any others that you've been to, or just
those two?
Yeah.
I really should make the effort to go to some in New York because New York has so many great film festivals. But I really want to make the effort to go out there and do one. But yeah.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great that you kind of grew up around there as well. Like
exactly. So it's like
gave you great insight into the industry.
Yeah, great insight.
That will definitely help you now and
me, insightful.
Yes, exactly. And kind of to touch upon that, I would kind of like to talk about kind of what graduating from QU has meant to you and what being a grad student has taught you and kind of what you're up to now.
So what graduating from Quinnipiac University has taught me? Well, I created a whole different life here. Like I come from a place like where I don't have many friends back home, where I'm quiet. People don't think I'm too quiet. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I mean,
it's weird.
I feel like I'm looking in a mirror hearing that. But yeah.
So it's like
hearing everything you just said, I feel like I'm looking in a mirror.
Yeah, people think I'm quiet and I have like no friends and everything else, and I was like, okay, it's gonna be the same here. No, I met my rocks here. I met my family here. I met my friends that I'm gonna keep for life here. So what graduating and going through all of this has taught me that you could kind of make a home anywhere for yourself. And kind of figure yourself out anywhere as long as you're surrounded by the right people. So if that's what college is so great. Like film. I'm a film major. Do I really have to be here? No, I don't. If I wanted to do this, I can go and figure out. I could pick up a camera. I can figure it out by myself, and then I can go and produce stuff by myself. But then I'm not surrounding myself with the right people. I'm not surrounding myself with people who are just as passionate as I am in this industry. I'm just by myself. So I feel like it's worth it in the sense that I'm meeting people who are not only going to be working in the same industry as me, but who are just as passionate about what they want to do. And then you can become friends with these people. And you can create relationships that you will remember literally for the rest of your life. So that's definitely what graduating from Quinnipiac has taught me.
Yeah, and that's an incredibly poignant answer, and that's why the Zicast exists in general, because I've had the same experience where at my previous school I didn't really have many friends, and I just wasn't enjoying being in college. So I was looking at schools. I came to Quinnipiac, and I was afraid of the similar thing happening, but really right away getting involved in all these programs, I was able to find friends such as yourself, and it's been so rewarding, and I just love it here so much. So I'm glad that you had the same experience, and that you've been able to do so many incredible things here.
Yeah, no, me too. It's really great. So yeah, but what was really funny is I didn't think about doing this film. I mean, until it was like this time to decide for college, because up till then I was like, okay, I'm going to be an engineer. I was really into robotics. I was on the robotics team and everything else. I was like, I'll go for engineering. I was looking at engineering schools, and I was like, wait, what about film? And then I was like, wait, it's kind of cool. Then I went on set with Tom and everything else, and then one led to two, and here I am.
With so many cool experiences.
Yeah.
So now, kind of after graduating, so kind of how's being a grad student teaching you or treating you, I should say.
It's good. The grad school here is very good. I'm talking to a lot of great people in my industry. I'm meeting a lot of like minds, professionals that are currently working. That's important because they can set us up with a professor that's been in the industry for 30 years, 20 years ago, and doesn't work anymore. But when you meet active people working in the industry, it's so different, so great. So that's really an awesome opportunity. So doing that, it's really great to talk to people that are currently working, figuring themselves out, continuing to produce and everything else. It's awesome. Not what I was expecting. The only problem I have with it is a majority of it is online. Not a lot of in-person classes. And I think next year that's gonna change next semester. If I'm pretty sure, right? There is a commercial class. Yeah, there's a commercial class that's gonna be on campus. That's gonna be cool. Because I also worked commercial sets, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah. That's why I hear I'm friends with a lot of 3+1, and I hear that their classes are going to be online next year a lot. And I always kind of think to myself, that would I wouldn't really like that, at least me personally. 'Cause
No,
I've
no,
never
me
liked
neither.
them
I mean,
online classes.
I mean, I'm still active in my classes in person enough. Like, I'm
Mm.
seeing people from my classes often. We're talking about it, discussing, working on it.
Mm.
And some of my classes sometimes meet in person. Sometimes. So it's like, yeah. But I wish that they made that effort to make it, more solid in person.
Yeah.
But yeah, having the hybrid model right now isn't terrible. I mean, it's fine. It's understandable to me. So,
Yeah. Because I always think of like film for like what we're doing. It's the ultimate collaborative process, and I feel like it's
exactly.
almost impossible to do that over
No,
online.
it's impossible. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But but I'm still here. I'm still doing my thing. It's good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So kind of last part of that question, like, what are you doing now? Because I remember you saying that you're working a commercial at Jeffrey Dean Morgan's ranch, and that just kind of blew my mind.
Yeah, no, that was a lot of fun. I was I work with a production company. Well, no, a marketing company. I work in their production department. I do a little work with them, and that was a great opportunity that presented itself. We were able to work a commercial on his ranch, and I met him and everybody else. So nice, great guy. Really nice guy. So that was a really great opportunity, and I've been doing stuff like that for a while now. I did some Chopped commercials, a lot of Food Network stuff, so a lot of culinary television, which is really cool.
That is
Culinary
really
TV
cool.
is really cool because
Yeah.
it's a normal TV set, right? But then there's a kitchen,
Yeah.
and you have to like cook and actively cook, and you have to have hot food 24/7, and there's just people working the kitchen in there at the same time. It's crazy. It's really interesting.
Yeah. That is really
yeah.
cool. And just knowing, Jeffrey Dean Morgan's
Yeah,
ranch as
no.
well. Like, he's been a really
Yeah.
cool actor. He's been in a lot of stuff.
He's been in a lot of stuff.
Walking
and he's,
Dead,
yeah, and he's
too.
gonna be in The Boys next year too, which is gonna be great. So yeah,
That's cool. Yeah, and I didn't know about the whole production company working
yeah, no, it's cool.
with cooking networks. That's a different perspective as well.
Yeah, no, my first I was a PA, so a production assistant, but that was my first PA gig, was working with this company and working on these sets and everything else, and it was just really cool figuring it all out, and like you said, it's a very high intensity work, everything else. It's like, you need to do this, you need to do it now type of vibe. So figuring that out and seeing it and working firsthand and having the opportunity to do it, awesome, really awesome.
And definitely something you can take with you
Yeah,
as you venture into like Michael Bay used to direct music videos. And
exactly.
you kind of see that kind of thing translate into his films a lot of those like quick montages. So perhaps that's something you can bring into
Yeah, exactly.
whenever your cinematic voice is able to be.
Cast a wide net. You don't
Yeah.
want to limit yourself to one thing. As soon as you have an opportunity to do anything, you just need to take it in this industry. It doesn't matter.
Definitely.
I could be working music videos, commercials, short films in different languages. It doesn't matter. As long as you have your and as long as you're anywhere near it, you're learning.
Definitely.
So it's cool. It's really just my plan is to cast a wide net, keep casting until I figure out what I want to do, and take my experiences from everything and put it into something that I'm passionate about.
Yes,
So-
and take bold risks. 'Cause
Exactly.
experience is experience.
Exactly.
Definitely. And then kind of on that same note, which is kind of a perfect transition,
Ooh.
what are some of your hopes and dreams, whether it be professionally or just in general?
My hopes and dreams.
Simple question. Simple.
I want to tell a great story.
Hmm.
I want to tell a story that is kind of just. It's a good question. What do you think? Because storytelling has always been my big thing. I've always wanted to because I feel like the stories that people have to tell are always really great, and I've always related to stories surrounding the human condition. So to tell a story that a lot of people can relate to, I feel like that's my main goal in all of this. To tell stories that people can relate to, that people can find themselves in. That's important. That's why I've chosen to do film. Because I want people to see themselves in the characters I create. I feel like that's important. So yeah, so that's my filmy dream. My other dream, just be happy doing what I want to do. As long as I have my head on right.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way as a writer and actor and aspiring filmmaker, kind of do the same thing and tell stories that can kind of touch people's lives.
Yeah.
Because that is a special quality. And that's even another reason why I have this show, is to be able to reach people, like I say, on this deeper level. So that is really great to hear.
Well,
And-
yeah, I feel like film has the opportunity to bring you in and keep you. So if you can just create characters and worlds that amuse people, entertain people, and create sympathy, change the way people think. Like, have you ever seen a film that's just like so like eye-opening, mind-opening to you that it's just like, wow.
Yes.
That's what I want to do. I want to create that experience for people.
Yes. Very much so. So I totally see what you mean. And kind of, again, on a similar note, what are some of your favorite filmmakers who've evoked that feeling for you?
Scorsese has always been important to me because Goodfellas, come on, let's be real, good movie. But the best movie I have ever seen, I can't say it's my favorite movie because if this is your favorite movie, you got problems. L.M. Klimov's Come and See. It is a Belarusian movie made in 1980 or 85. It's a war movie. Most terrifying piece of cinema I have ever seen in my life.
I think I know what you're talking about.
It is a horrifying movie, but it is done so well and evokes such emotion that can never be replicated. So watching that movie and seeing what it brought out of me, mind-boggling. Absolutely world-changing. So seeing that movie and being like, okay, this is what is possible, that's where I want to take what I want to make,
Incredible.
I want to evoke that level of emotion out of people.
Any other specific filmmakers that kind of come to mind?
Christopher Nolan is one. I mean, Oppenheimer was absolutely great movie, amazing movie. Tarantino, a little bit, kind of like some of his stuff. He's very hit or miss for me. Scorsese, I have already said. But Robert Eggers, too. I love the stuff he makes. The Northman was one of my favorite movies.
Same for me. I love
great
that.
Great film.
I went to, sorry to take you off track, but
no, please go.
When I went to see it, I was just in an empty theater, and I was watching this movie, and by the end of it, I was like, this is one of the best movies I've seen in a very long time.
Yes.
It came out the same year as like the Batman and Top Gun, and I was like, this
got no awards or anything. It got no recognition.
And I was like, this is very much up there with me. It was probably my second favorite movie of that year, and I thought it was just absolutely like unlike anything I'd ever seen in the theater.
Because you come out of it like just so like riddled with them, like it's the most testosterone filled movie I've ever seen in my life. There's just like so much testosterone in it. You're just like leaving just like grunting and making Viking noises. So it's just, that's what I love about movies though, because the way they make you feel after you see them, it's like you could be angry, excited, you could be shocked, or you could just be an angry grunting husk of a man, like you are after seeing The Northman. So yeah, that great movie. He's releasing Nosferatu on Christmas, which is going to be great. Probably, yeah, it's going to be great. It's Robert Eggers.
Yeah,
he never misses.
Yeah,
so
like The Lighthouse, that was fascinating.
Oh, The Lighthouse was awesome.
You like my lobster, eh?
Damn you, Winslow. Yeah, great movie. No, so he's awesome. That's really where I take my sources of inspiration from for film.
Awesome. And kind of like further that, what are some of your favorite movies?
Favorite movies. Here's the thing, like it's like with anything. Music, I listen to every type of music imaginable. I listen to sea shanties, disco. I listen to everything. Like my Spotify Wrapped, terrifying, absolutely terrifying. But it's the same with movies because I watch a little bit of everything. Like my comfort movie is Legally Blonde. Swear to God, I watched that movie 10 times. It's such a great movie, and the bend and snap. Come on, that's funny as heck. So that's a comfort movie for me. At the same time, I'll sit down and I'll watch Come and See or The Lighthouse anytime. I'll watch Oppenheimer anytime. 1917 I just watched the other day. Great film. Awesome film. I that's like the second time I've seen it. The Deer Hunter. Awesome film. De Niro, great work in that.
Yes.
What else have I seen? I've seen that so much.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes it's hard to think of.
Exactly, it's hard to think of.
But
movies.
Sam Mendes is another great director.
Oh, amazing.
To note, because with 1917.
He did Skyfall too, right?
Yes.
Skyfall was great.
My personal favorite Bond movie. As a big Bond guy.
Oh yeah, hands down the best directed one in my opinion.
Roger Deakins on the cinematography.
Roger Deakins does everything well. Oh, Roger Deakins, great guy. Yeah. Anything with Christopher Walken too. I'm a big Christopher Walken guy. Yeah, I just saw Reservoir Dogs too.
Hmm.
That's a big one. Reservoir Dogs. I have to figure out how to say that more.
Mhm.
But yeah, what else? But here's the thing, because I have such weird taste. Like,
I would say varied taste. Or
it's so varied because like I love like gore.
yeah.
Gore is so fun to me.
Hmm.
But then I'll hop on Disney Plus and watch like 10 episodes of Bluey in a row. And it'll just be like these little Australian dog kids hanging out, doing their thing. You know, it's very different.
Hmm.
So I just have different tastes, you know. So picking out a particular film or a show
Yeah.
that inspires me is very difficult. But
Hmm.
yeah, shows like Peaky Blinders,
Hmm.
BoJack Horseman is one that comes to mind. Ted Lasso,
Hmm.
love Ted Lasso.
A lot of Mick Hanley shows.
Yes,
That's what I would have guessed.
Mick Hanley shows. The Boys.
Yep.
Gen V,
Hmm.
also very good. They got some reviews. They're making The Boys Mexico. Did you see that?
Interesting. I did not see that.
Yeah, no. Apparently it was like released the other day. They're making The Boys Mexico, which is going to be. It's a spin-off.
Hmm.
Hmm. I'm excited for that too. As long as the same minds behind The Boys are also working on that, I'm happy. I'm happy because they make great stuff. Not for everybody.
Yes.
Not for everybody, but great stuff nonetheless.
Yeah, but I feel like that's where they kind of get you with the vulgarity to kind of
Oh
differ
yeah, no,
from.
the vulgarity is. Oof, oh my goodness, it's like the way they talk is like Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
But I totally get what you're saying because I've always really felt that creativity is an amalgamation of the things you like, and if you kind of bring together a lot of the gory stuff you like with the very, say like family-oriented stuff you like, you kind of bring that together.
yeah,
You could create a lot of really interesting, nuanced, unique stuff.
yeah. Well, I'm still trying to figure out how I can combine Bluey and the Boys, but we'll see. It's in the works.
Well, they both start with the same letter.
There we go. That's
So we're on a safe track.
oh my god. But yeah, so I just kind of, it's like anything else. Cast a wide net, see what I like. I like that. Cool. Move on.
Definitely.
What else I like? I want to sponge it all up, you know?
Absorb and continue to learn.
Yep.
Yeah, so kind of with that all said, Mick, is there anything else that you wanted to add?
Thank you so much for having me on. I mean, it's great to be here and be able to talk about this type of stuff. I guess my message to anybody who can relate to what I've been saying is to never stop learning. This industry is for everybody, and you'll find your place in it sometime soon. And as long as you love what you're doing, you're gonna be able to make a living off of it.
Awesome. And thank you so much for sharing that with us alongside everything else. And thank you for coming on the show and for being a great mentor to myself and
I appreciate that.
all of our other friends, or I should say family, over at Quinnipiac tonight. So thank you again. And as always, this is Ryan Ziaks with the Zicast, where everyone has a story, signing off. Thank you.
Thank you.